Hi guys, so today we're going to have a look at the contents of the CRL conventional rotary launcher. So let's just get the parts out of the box as they come, and then we'll talk about each of the bits and pieces that are in here. Now these are all the parts from all the different sets, the combinations, so depending on which combination you have bought, you may have different parts. Let's start with the different bags. So this bag is got, have a look here. So these are the end caps in here, the boxes and smaller version of the end caps. These are the solid lower quality version of the BRU 56s. These are the proper BRU 56s with full detail on them. These are the cooling pipes, the environmental system pipes sets. This is the main end component, front end component and front table. And these are the center component, center barrel section and the two end sections. You may have a separate bag that has the bonus parts for the exclusive set, which would be the drill bits and the rods and wiring. So let's first take out the solid CRLs, the solid BRUs. So these are designed if you are just placing bombs on the racks in the bomb bays and you don't need to see any detail of them. So there's two blocks, each with 8 on for the 8 total, each with 4 on for the 8 total that you need. So it's worth noting with these that they do have a support in the middle that is not to be cut off. It is part of the set. I'll just show you what I mean here. If I can get them out. For both the same. So these parts here, these are on the other ones, but that part right there and there, they are not supports. They are actual mounting hardware to mount into these holes in here. So we'll see that during assembly, and we'll also see that during a removal of the supports. Okay, so that's 8 of those. Then we have the full detail sets of the BRU 56s. And so these are designed for display either in the bomb bay with no weapons on, or in the bomb bay with weapons on, or if you have the device, the CRL set up as a display. So these actually come with the pistons molded in. So the pistons here that actually eject the bombs. So if you're putting bombs on the racks, then you can cut those off so that the bombs fit flush across those. Let's just have a look. I've got a handy. Here we go. So this is a GBU 31. So meet the holes there. If we have got the mounting rack there, they go straight in those holes there. So the holes line up if you're mounting them. These are Edward GBU 31s. Okay, now these come 3 to a mounting, or 3 to a set, and there's 3 sets there in it. So for a total of 9, you're only going to need 8. These are quite delicate, so we've given you an extra 1 if you make a mistake or a little crack or something, because they are scale thickness. So if one of them's a little, might be a little bit of damage on one perhaps, you've got an extra one. So we'll make sure everyone gets at least 8 good ones. So again, these have part of the support structure underneath there is the mounting lug. So when they come off, okay, this is one here without those pistons on, and you need those so that, let's find an example of one. There we go. So they can actually mount into the rack just like that. So if you were to accidentally cut one of those lugs off as you were removing the supports, you can either glue it back on, or you've got a spare one, or you just glue it on without them, but they just make it building it a lot easier if you've got those. So again, once we get around to cutting those off, we'll show you how to do that. Okay, these are the end plates and the boxes. So if you've got a set that is the basic set that has only only the support for mounting in the bays, these are the 2 end caps with the nipple blisters on the end there that mount directly into the bulkheads on the kit parts, as you can see. So if you've got the set, the basic set that only has those 2, that's all you're going to get. If you've got a full set that includes that part there, but also the ones without the ends on. So this part and this part are basically these 2 parts without that nub on the end. So this is that way you've got all the detail on the end there. If you are using it as a display model, you've got it mounted outside of the bay on the stand, for example. So these ones here, there's actually a piece in here, so you can't cut directly all the way through here. Again, we'll show you, you've got to cut the outer ring, and then the inner ring only cuts a certain amount of the way through, because we have, let's have a look, an example of one. Of course, what I'm trying to show, here we go. So on the end here, the lug and the end there goes into that there. So yes, you could cut the whole thing off and not have the lug, but it's easier to have the lug. So we'll show you that as well. So you're either going to get that part or that part. Okay, these are the control boxes. So from the top here, from the left, this is the top box. This is the rear right side. This is the front right side. And this is the bottom set. So these supports here are all cut straight off across the bottom. For all of these, the little supports come off there, straight off across the bottom here. Flat on all those. Okay, don't worry if that's a little bit bent, that's just where it's on the plates. These have tiny little holes in all of the ends for the connecting. So you can just see those there for all the wires. So the placement of those is this one here top, this one here right front, this one here right rear, and this one here at the bottom underneath there. We've got 4 mounting points there. the ECS, the Environmental Control System piping. We have parts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 labeled as such. These surrounds here are to protect those. The supports will show how to take those off. And then you've got 4 parts the same that form up into the square shape of those that go around the front of the housing. And then we have, look at the end parts first. So of the main body components, there are 3. There is the front, there is the center, and then there's the rear. Now there are 2 versions of the rear, depending on which set you've ordered. The base set that has the details with the molded in or cast in, printed in control lines through here. And then we have the version with none of the lines built in, just the little mounts, so that you can, if you wish, replace those with steel rods that are included only in the exclusive set. That's 0.15 mil. Let's have a look what that looks like. Tiny, tiny, tiny. And the exclusive set, they are included, so that wire would go in from there to there. Closer. And also included in the exclusive set is the 0.15 mil drill bit. Now this is included as a bonus extra. It is not a part for the set, it's a free gift because they are so fragile and tiny that we can't guarantee that they will not break on you straight away or that they won't arrive broken. So just think of it as a bonus. What we've done is we've created this part, 3D printed part, to protect it. So as you can see there, that is a microfine 0.15 mil. And that is the size for all the holes. So if you've given that, that's to drill out these bits here, and also on the main chassis part, all the holes that if you need to drill any out for wiring. Okay, as you can see through the little hole there that the bit is intact, so we think this will give the best degree of protection possible of these. The wiring is, let's have a look. So the wiring, no, that's not it. It is the fine wiring. So it is 0.15 mil solder wire to give you the scale thickness. So we've included enough of that to do all of the wiring, and that wiring will fit then through the holes in the parts. Very carefully fit through. Tricky to do without the optivisor on. And that's a previous version without the holes in. The new ones have the holes in. Anyway, You'll see that in a minute. So that's the two end parts there. You'll either have both if you've got the version with that, or just that one. They're exactly the same except for that part there. You'll notice it's got a molded in or designed in carbon fiber type pattern on that to replicate the real thing. This is the center barrel. So this is the main part that the BRUs connect into. So these wires on the end here will connect to these end of these parts in here. These will come off, and those wires there will connect to the end of there. So this mounting lug here will go into this one. You'll end up with, when you cut this part off here, a hole in this one that the end will mount into. And this part here will be removed, and the BRUs will sit in there, and that wire will connect to the side of the BRUs. And the last bag will have the top mounting tray and the main body component, or front section as we call it. So this tray will sit on the top there in that position, and the top box will go on that with the mounting lugs here to go into the top box, and the one in the bottom will go into here. And then, as I said, the top tray, the top part just sits on the top of that. The corresponding hole in the bottom of it to fit that on. So this is the main, most complex part in the kit, the front of the CRL. So as you can see, it's got lots of detail, and this is where all of the wiring comes in. So this is the wiring loom, will come through, most of the wires will come from there down through these holes on the side. All right, so this is the one that's got, you can see it's actually got the holes in it. So I might better get that through now. There you go. You can see that goes straight through there. You can use thicker if you want, but the 0.15 is the scale thickness that the kit's been designed around. So we have the top tray mounts on here, the bottom tray mounts, well, the bottom box, let's keep it in view, mounts on these 4 points at the bottom here. The front, looking at it this way, this is the front, so that's the front control box there, the rear side control box there. A lot of this fine wiring through here is actually supports to hold these parts here in place. You can just about see that there is holes through these parts here and here, where the wiring will continue through. So what we've done here is we've built this part, this end part. Eventually this end part will be flat, and the front part will go on the top there like that in there. So we've built this here as a holding part to hold this at, so you can hold it without having to touch a lot of these fragile parts here while you're wiring, drilling, painting, etc. So that you're not having to hold it here with these fragile parts and they'll just break on you. So yes, this whole front part from here will cut off at the end. The rear component of it here actually has a mounting lug. You can see the shape of it in here, and that goes into the end. I'll show you what that looks like in a second here. I need to find one I completed earlier. Yes, there we go. There we go. So And when you're cutting that off, don't cut all the way through, just cut around the edge, and then there's a break in the resin so that the plug will sit proud. Basically, that is going to go into that there. That part goes into there like that. The end comes off, and that's your main body. And then the other boxes go onto this area here, and the ECS piping goes onto here. These 4 holes here around there are where the portions of the pipes go into. So this lug here will go into each one of those, giving you a square around that part there. And then off of that will come the 4 these, which will come through from that into the various locations on here that we go. So again, we'll show you how that all comes apart. The key is to follow the instructions that we're going to show you here in the video next to remove the supports, so that you get the parts out without breaking or damaging them, and that way they can all go together nice and cleanly. Okay, that's all the components you would have in the kit. You would have various mixtures of those depending which of the 4 sets you have got. Thanks for now.